Piyush Goyal, thank you so much once again for talking to us.
It's a pleasure as always.
Thanks. It's been a heady 2 or 3 weeks. First we had the India-EU FTA, the mother of all deals, mother of all FTAs. And then we had this reformist budget, the big bang reformist budget. And then yesterday we have this agreement on tariffs with the United States, which is a stepping stone probably to a father of all deals. So looking back, how does it feel now that you have done with all this? Are you feeling relieved? Are you feeling anxious? Or that the hard work is yet to come? That was the easy part.
Not at all. I think neither is any part easy or difficult. That's a frame of mind. But I'm very excited about the future of India. I can see before my eyes all these international engagements. And we've done 9 agreements across the world, east, west, covering different continents, covering 38 countries. 37 of them developed. Mauritius is largely the Indian origin population, not competing with us on anything. These 38 countries represent a very large part of the world GDP. They are all rich countries who don't compete with us on almost anything. They are largely complementary economies. Therefore, I can see before my eyes the huge potential that going international is going to provide for our farmers, our fishermen, our workers, a lot of job opportunities, our business persons, investors, MSMEs will flourish. Effectively, we have opened up large markets in addition to India's fastest growing large economy providing a big market itself so that economies of scale can come into play, high quality production of goods and provision of services can become the hallmark of India. Yeah. And this is the path to Viksit Bharat 2047.
Right. So what we saw yesterday and what we read yesterday was the end of the negotiations. And as journalists, we only get to see the end. Then we analyze it, report it. We don't know the kind of effort that goes into reaching the final negotiation. So can we ask you to just take us behind the scenes and tell us what are negotiations like? Are they acrimonious? Are they very friendly? Do negotiators have dinner or lunch together sometimes or have a cup of tea? What is it like?
Well, I think it's fun. Negotiations is all about being sharp on the uptake, being able to crystal gaze into the future, looking at things laterally so that you don't get stuck at a point without understanding the many dimensional ramifications. And negotiations is a lot about keeping your cool, though occasionally for effect you may even lose your temper.
I see.
But I must say I've been blessed to be guided in the negotiations by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, by Home Minister Shri Amit Shah ji, my other colleagues in the cabinet. I've been very fortunate to have an outstanding team of negotiators, both in the Commerce Ministry, ably supported by officials from other ministries, and at critical points of times, supported by the Prime Minister's office and the Cabinet Secretary. So it's been a whole of the government approach. It's yielded us very good results, speedy results, and I dare say, in none of the 9 agreements have we compromised national interest. Public good has been at the forefront of our negotiations. All of them are very fair, very balanced, equitable. Wherever the economies were small and we felt that what we are giving is not adequately compensated by what we are getting, we've superimposed with additional inputs. For example, for the first time in the history of the WTO, there was a free trade agreement between the EFTA bloc, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Iceland, and India, where we got $100 billion foreign direct investment. That's sustained long-term capital, not into the stock market as such. FDI of $100 billion over the next 15 years, which I feel will seed nearly $500 billion of investment at the aggregate with debt and Indian capital and maybe the ecosystem around it, create 5 million jobs overall and 1 million jobs directly. And if they don't invest, I have the ability to claw back the benefits that we have given in the FTA. It's the first time it has ever happened. Other countries are now following that template.
Right. So what were the US negotiators like? You wouldn't have met them personally, but you would have got reports from your...
No, I've met every negotiator personally.
Really?
And we've built a very strong partnership and relationship. See, negotiators have to do their job.
Yeah.
It's a lot about each one protecting his own interests and looking for the maximum benefit for his country.
Yeah.
And we should respect that.
Yeah.
We should also respect the fact that it's a tough job, because what we do in a FTA is going to affect the nation and our country and our people for decades to come. So one has to be very cautious, one has to be sharp, and at the same time you build a rapport with the negotiator, because there's often that rapport helps you get some additional benefit. That rapport helps you to understand each other's mind. There are often trade-offs that one is required to do. But in the aggregate, the style of negotiation that India has pursued has been to respect the other country's sensitivities, as we expect them to respect our sensitivities.
Did they respect our
and
sensitivities?
in every one of the 9 agreements, I must say that on a personal note, I built up very good relations with my counterparts.
In the US also?
In every
USTR?
country. Oh, USTR and other officials, other ministers in the US have become like so close that I could say that they're like family members, or we can pick up the phone and call up any of them at any point of time.
So if
there's a
problem,
time I actually sent a message, "Are you free? Can I call?" And I got a shout back, "Call anytime, 24 hours. Don't even bother to message me." So that's the kind of rapport we build up at ministerial level, at operating negotiating team level. And the best part is, in all of these negotiations, Honorable Prime Minister's relation with his counterpart, with the leader of that country or that block of countries,
that matters,
were fabulous, were just absolutely outstanding. I can tell you, the European Union, for instance, 27 nation bloc. It's not easy to get 27 nations on the same page.
Yeah.
For us also, we had to carefully assess the impact of every decision in the lens of 27 nations' economies. But I dare say this is one agreement that each and every one of those 27 nations has welcomed.
Right.
The India-EU FTA is one agreement that has not seen any negativity across Europe, while on the other hand, an agreement they did in 2019 is still struggling to get done with.
Is this willingness of the opposite side negotiators to be, so friendly and willing to compromise on certain respects?
See, nobody compromises. Everybody has to protect their own. What happens normally is that you balance your trade, what you're getting and what you are giving.
It's a give and take.
Yeah, it's a certain amount of give and take. And the good part is these are not competing economies. As I said, Prime Minister Modi is very focused. If India has to become a developed country, we have to work with other developed countries in the world. And therefore, his focus has been on expanding trade relations, opening avenues for growth and business with other developed countries, not developing countries. And developed countries naturally are unable to compete on our areas of interest, and they have things to offer which really we need.
Right.
So it's a win-win for both.
Yeah. In the larger picture, is this agreement on tariffs with the United States, is it like an inflection point, a turning point in our relations with Washington? And I'm asking you because there's a wonderful article in the Indian Express today by C. Rajamohan, and I'll just quote very quickly. and I ask your opinion on this. He says that trade negotiations, by definition, involve give and take, but the public discourse has long focused only on what India has given away, ignoring what it has gained. This zero-sum mindset is out of step with trade as a positive sum game. By closing the deal with the United States and defending it without diffidence, Delhi signals that India has emerged as a confident negotiator and a purposeful interlocutor.
Oh, I think that's very beautifully put.
Yeah.
Because truly, I find that at times people do not recognize that you can't expect the world to open their markets for you without opening your market at all. It's only that you do it smart, you do it sensibly. I don't want to politicize the issue, but take, for example, some of the FTAs that the Congress government and their UPA alliance, which had Congress, the DMK, the Trinamool Congress, the Samajwadi Party, all of them together ran a government for 10 years. It's another matter that in those 10 years they ran down India's economy from an 8% growth to 4% in 14, from very low inflation of 4% that they inherited in 4 to double digit in the course of their government's tenure. They really messed up India and made us a fragile 5 economy. I mean, a little bit of digression. Mr. P. Chidambaram was finance minister in 2004. And in the first speech in his budget of 2004, he had articulated about the strong macroeconomic situation that he had inherited and promised to build upon that. Sadly, they ruined India's economic situation so much that 2014, when he presented the interim budget, we were only the 11th largest GDP at that time in the world. And he mentioned in that it will take India 30 years to become the 3rd largest GDP, which means they were expecting India to become the 3rd largest economy in the world in 2044. Under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, India will achieve that by 2027, 28. A good 16 years before the Congress could even visualize when they were in government. It just reflects that their mindset was weak. They would do free trade agreements with competing economies who are today hurting India's Make in India program, hurting jobs in India. We've not got fair deals because we didn't get enough access in those markets. And we opened up our market much more. So we are today struggling with them to try and renegotiate. But very difficult for somebody who's got it to take it back. And then I was reading surprisingly a tweet by the concerned minister who finalized it at that point of time, saying that if the treaty was not so good, why did India not cancel it? There are many geopolitical reasons. After all, we respect that governments are in continuity. A decision taken by one government, even if it changes, India is a country which respects the past, respects the fact that we are a democracy where every new government will not change the policy of the old government. So it's very unfortunate that even 12 years out of power, they're not able to understand why the people of India threw them out of power in the first place. As Prime Minister Modi said, I think the Congress has decided that for another 25, 30 years they want to stay where they are. They're losing public trust, they're losing the confidence of the common man. On the other hand, Prime Minister Modi, with his astute management of the economy, simultaneously taking public welfare and social development of our people to very high levels. We've taken 25 crore people out of poverty. Clearly, India is a country which is emerging with great confidence. And I agree with Mr. Rajmohan Rao that today India negotiates from a position of strength. When I start negotiations, I start by saying, look, we are a $4 trillion economy today, but the $4 trillion is going to be 35 trillion by 2047 when we are a developed economy. And Prime Minister Modi has a vision, has a roadmap well prepared and very clearly articulated amongst in his team, amongst the cabinet, amongst senior officials, how we are going to get there.
Right.
And that confidence that India has today, that delta of opportunity from 4 trillion to 30, 35 trillion, that's the future that we offer. That's what is our negotiating strength.
Right. Piyush, I want to ask you specific questions about the US tariff agreement. So under the terms of the agreement, the US will reduce the reciprocal tariffs to 18%. But they will still continue to impose the basic customs duties on top of the RT. For example, they impose 7% customs duties on shrimp plus 2.5% anti-dumping and 2.5% countervailing and plus 18%. We, on the other hand, will bring down our customs duties to zero, and we obviously don't have any RT. On the face of it, it doesn't look like a balanced deal, but do you think this disadvantage will be offset, more than offset, by the huge market, the 30 trillion market the US is providing?
Mr. Joshi, trade is all about competitive advantage, comparative advantage.
Right.
So India always had high tariffs, but we still are the fastest growing large economy. In fact, very often the US president quotes this fact that by increasing the tariffs, I will not hurt my economy because it's a competitive situation. So MFN is applied on everybody in the world. The RTs are applied on everybody in the world. It's a matter of fact. So we have to see our competitive advantage over others. And comparatively, India's RTs now amongst our peer countries, peer group of countries, the emerging economies, the developing countries, is amongst the lowest, is actually the lowest. So therefore, we are in a sweet spot. We have an advantage over the rest. So China is 35% and we are 18%.
Yeah.
They also pay MFN, we also pay MFN. So it's always the comparative advantage which gives you an edge into the market. It's not just about 30 trillion. That is, of course, a very compelling case. Our largest trading partner, both in goods and services. But the important thing is competitive advantage. Even when we reduce our tariffs, it's about competitive advantage. What we are giving to others as our MFN tariff and what we give to an FTA partner. So I don't think this is a material issue at all. When some people talk about it or try to highlight this, it only reflects that they don't understand international trade and they're only trying to mislead the people. Businesses, by the way, understand this very well.
Right.
So you will see that every business person, every industry association, everybody who does exports, whether farmer produce exports, seafood exports, all have welcomed it because they realize the massive trade advantage that this is going to give India. And it will ultimately help our farmers. We are today the largest, one of the largest exporter of farm products. Are you aware we are exporting $55 billion of farm and fish products every year, 5 lakh crores. All of that is income for our farmers. If now, with all these free trade agreements, we attract investments, which we certainly will, and we start processing all the farmer produce, it'll certainly give them a much bigger value for the farm produce. And farmers' incomes will increase. Look at Amul. Earlier, what was the price our dairy was giving to the milk producers? And after Amul came in and so many other dairies came in, how the price has increased significantly. So I think it's important for people to assess that it's a story where India is moving out from being just a producer of basic goods to now a producer of finished goods. We are now not making components for a smartphone, we are making the smartphone itself. We are now just not supplying cotton and yarn or fabric to the world. We are making high quality textile garments and home decor and upholstery, which goes into the best of products. We are now not just making Kolhapuri chappals as a leather footwear sold with an Indian brand. We are selling Kolhapuri chappals marketed by Prada. This is the new India that all of us are proud to be a part of.
We have committed to purchase $500 billion worth of goods from the United States. That's over the next 5 years. So that comes to $100 billion per year. Basically, we are looking to double our current imports of 50 billion. Right? You have said that the additional 50 billion will come from aircraft, high-end products like chips, etc. Can you clarify that this includes the orders already placed for Boeing aircraft, or is it in addition to that?
Everything that we are talking about is in continuation and includes what we already are purchasing. If you will read the joint statement, it says India intends to purchase $500 billion of US energy products, aircraft and aircraft parts, precious metals, technology products, cooking coal, and many other products. Now, let me set this in context. This is over 5 years, 500 billion over the next 5 years. Even today, we are importing between 45 to $50 billion.
Yeah.
These are products which we don't have in India. Do we make aircrafts in India? We are going to need aircrafts. We are going to need engines for aircrafts. We are going to need spare parts. You know, we already have $50 billion worth of orders on Boeing alone for aircrafts. In addition to that, we have orders for engines. In addition to that, we need spare parts. So almost 80-90 billion is already on order for the next 5 years.
Okay.
We will actually need more than that. I read the other day Tata's plans to place some more orders. My sense is we need at least $100 billion plus only for the aviation sector. Only. In addition to that, oil, LNG, LPG, crude oil. It's a matter of fact that we are importing it, not from today. All these things that I'm mentioning, coking coal, our steel industry is at 140 million tons, and we already import about 17-18 billion tons of coking coal. When we reach 300 billion, which is a stated target, and expansion is going on at breakneck speed in the steel industry, we need $30 billion per year of coking coal alone. And all of these products I'm mentioning are already being imported since the Congress time, since UPA was in power. Nothing new. They're growing in the world's fastest growing large economy. There's a growth of demand and consumption of all of these products. In addition, we announced in the budget we want to promote data centers, we want to promote AI mission, we want to promote critical manufacturing and critical minerals processing in India. All of this will require high quality machinery, ICT products, the NVIDIA chips will require machinery for AI, for quantum computing. Where is all of that going to come from? The world's most powerful technology provider is the United States. And in that we are growing almost double digit, 15, 20, 25% a year. We could actually look at data centers. Even one product like data centers being the fulcrum of massive economic growth, and I'll explain how. Data centers will require construction of area and buildings and campuses and all. Huge jobs. Data centers will attract foreign investment, foreign exchange coming in. Data centers, once set up, will give jobs to people who work in that. Data centers require renewable energy. Most data centers look at clean energy sources. So our solar, wind, hydro, nuclear, and we have 100 gigawatt nuclear plant where also we need equipment from the US in big measure. Our requirement for battery storage, pump storage, all of this will grow. So there'll be huge investments, again foreign exchange earnings in all of these renewable energy sectors. That will provide into the grid. So we'll need to strengthen transmission, strengthen our grid. That will provide jobs for people across the value chain of utilities. Once data centers come up, there's a huge ecosystem around it. More jobs, travel to come and go, more opportunity for aviation. And finally, when we provide cloud services through these data centers internationally, and India's data is the cheapest in the world, probably 3-4% of what the US data costs are. So that will attract more people to India. You're going to earn foreign exchange. Look at the holistic thinking that Prime Minister Modi works with. I dare say our Congress friends, our colleagues in the opposition can't even think 10% as laterally and as comprehensively as Honorable Prime Minister Modi thinks. It's very unfortunate that they only can try and mislead the people. 500 billion, if you ask me, is a modicum part of what we are going to need in the next 5 years in these set of imports. We are even today importing $300 billion of goods that can be imported from the US. We are importing from all over the world. That is going to grow up to $2 trillion in the next 5 years. By requirement for these goods, which I just highlighted, in the next 5 years is worth $2 trillion. So I see no problem at all in importing $500 billion. But they have to be able to provide. So I told my counterparts that, look, I can assure you that there is demand in India, but you have to be competitive. Boeing has to supply those planes. If I place orders and they don't supply, then I'm not responsible for it.
So 100 billion is very conservative.
I think it's extremely conservative for a country which wants to become a $30 trillion economy, which India intends to. If in the next 5 years we don't grow rapidly, how will we ever achieve $30 trillion economy? And we are convinced that for the next 20-25 years, India will be the fastest growing large economy on the earth.
So what's your target for next year? Just for next year, how much would be
Joshiji, the target depends on the buyers and the sellers. Government doesn't buy all of this. But I know for a fact that Google has announced a huge investment in Andhra Pradesh on data centers. I aggregated all the announcements that have come in so far. My sense is in the next 5 years, we'll see at least 10 gigawatt of data centers. At least, I'm saying. Coming up in different parts of India. Of course, largely Mumbai, Visakhapatnam, areas where the landing of the data cables is currently available. New data cables may also be set up. So I think this alone will be an investment, in my humble opinion, of about $150 to $200 billion. Just data centers alone. Wow. So this is the new India. People have to move out of the shell of living in the past and embrace the future. What Prime Minister Modi said in Parliament the other day. Bharat is now future ready.
We've looked at the joint statement quite closely. There seems to be no mention of safeguard measures in case of significant jump of
This is a two-page document. You know that normally when we complete the formal documentation, it's a whole big... I know when in the cabinet we went with the European Union document, it was a whole big set of papers, probably about 8 inches high. So it's a lot of things which are yet to be brought in. And it cuts both ways. I'm sure the United States would equally want to safeguard if we flood their market with something too much. So it's something which is a normal outcome of any negotiation.
So it's work in progress. And
it's always there. Safeguards are always there. So it's something which, if anybody is trying to highlight, it's not in this two-page joint statement or trying to mislead the people saying there's still a lot of clarity required. It only reflects the ignorance of those people. And I think the people of India are very smart. They've seen Prime Minister Modi first as CM of Gujarat, 12 years now as PM of the country. They've seen the 8 trade deals that he's done. By the way, not a single edit so far. In any of these 9 trade deals, not a single edit. Which could show that this agreement is not in national interest. First 8 are now done and dusted, you can imagine. Not a single edit which criticized any of them.
I have a related question. There is also mention of additional products which there is no clarity on what they are. So should we just wait for them?
India has sensitivity about a certain set of products. We've safeguarded all of them and I've made it public. Just to reiterate, I'm sure by now a lot of people are fully aware of the products that we have safeguarded. A lot of people know that this is a government that's unyielding in ensuring that India's interests are protected. But just to reiterate for your viewers and listeners, take the agricultural sector. What have we protected? All dairy products. No GM products would be allowed to come in. All meat. By the way, we've allowed turkey. Now you'll appreciate, turkey is not
no one eats,
going to hurt any Indian interest. There's no turkey in India. Poultry, all poultry products are not a part of this deal. No concessions. Soya meal and corn, makkah, which was usually the 2 largest export from the US and was causing some concern in India. Both are not given any concessions in this deal. Cereals like rice, wheat, no concession. Sugar, no concession. Millets like jawar, bajra, ragi, kodo, amaranth, no concessions. Fruits, which we make in significant measure like banana, strawberries, cherries, citrus fruits, they're out of the deal. Pulses like green pea, kabuli chana, moong, they're not in the deal. But there are some pulses which we import, some lentils which we import.
Right.
We've given them some access, market access. Ultimately, it has to be a give and take. You read it out yourself.
Yeah.
So if I don't give anything, how will I open the market for my farmers in the US?
True.
If I don't open it for anything at all. But there are products we import. Soya bean oil.
Yeah.
We have been importing from Congress time in big measure. If you look just to get last year's import value, in soybean oil, our imports have gone up to $5 billion. I've given them a quota in that. What's wrong? It's good for the country.
Yeah.
I've given them a quota in DDGS. It's an animal feed, very high in nutrition. Animal husbandry, in fact, wants it. Poultry people are craving for it.
Because it's
it
cheaper.
makes the chicken much more healthier.
It's got a higher protein content.
Very high protein. Now, I have to balance all these interests. So I've given them a quota on DDGS. A lot is being made about DDGS being opened up and all.
But it's good.
Quota on DDGS is good for the economy.
Yeah.
So we have, and I can give you all the information similarly. Every one of them is very balanced, very well thought of, and will support the India growth story. And finally, support Indian farmers who also want to export their products, and particularly processed products, to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it's a calibrated opening. It's an opening where in certain cases it's quotas. Some cases where I need it, I can even do zero duty. Look at tree nuts, pistachios and all this.
Basically dry fruits, what we call dry fruits.
We are importing about $3.5 billion of tree nuts.
Tree nuts.
And of that, already $1 billion comes from the US. If it comes more, I have no problem if it comes from the US. It helps the consumers. By the way, Mr. Joshi, amongst all stakeholders, the largest stakeholder is the customer. Is the consumer. 1.4 billion Indians, 140 crore Indians.
And
is
if they
also a stakeholder.
If they get something cheaper, why not?
We should celebrate that.
Yeah.
And there are things we have shortage, we are importing. Pistachios, we are going to continue to import. It's not the weather conditions in India don't support the manufacture.
Yeah.
We don't have enough almonds. I'm sure for the last 20 years since Congress was in government, you heard of California almonds coming to India. So they are coming every year. If they come from the US, I have no problem. Because in lieu of that, I'm getting access to labor-intensive industries like textiles, leather footwear, sports shoes, sportswear, toys, handicrafts, handlooms, all labor-intensive stuff, machinery, auto components, which will provide lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of people jobs in India, which will provide our startups new avenues both to raise investment and capital and use their innovative ideas across the world, which will create service sector opportunities for our engineers and STEM graduates.
Right.
So I think it's always important to look at the overall balance, and on the balance of it, I think it's a fabulous deal.
Right. Do you foresee a timeline for the total elimination of the reciprocal tariffs of 18%?
As I've said before, this is a first phase of the bilateral trade agreement. We'll continue to discuss and negotiate further going forward. You might have heard that in the last 7 years as Commerce Minister, I've always said that on trade negotiations, there can never be a deadline. There can never be a timeline. You have to wait and get the best deal. You have to labor to get the best deal for your country.
Yeah.
And anything done with a deadline is always harmful, and you sometimes make mistakes. So we are very cautious about it. We never work on a deadline. And even for that matter, in the EU deal, there was no deadline. Even few days before the deal got concluded, I had informed the Honorable Prime Minister, it may happen, it may not happen. And he had supported me, he's always been very, very supportive. You do your job, do it well, do it in the best interest of the people of India, of businesses in India, farmers and fishermen in India, workers in India. The youth should get opportunities, our women should be happy. That's your priority.
You told him it may or may not be,
Yes.
may be done, may not be done.
May not be done. And my fortune to have a leader like Mr. Modi who always has your back, always supports.
Also, your fortune that you got it done.
Well, it's good that we were able to resolve the last few issues to our satisfaction and certainly to their satisfaction also. So it has to be a win-win for both.
Yeah. I have a question on Russian oil. I know that you asked journalists to refer to
because
the
I'm
MEA.
not aware of the
You're not
subject,
aware of it.
So it won't make any difference. You can ask, but I have nothing to answer.
But there is one issue that you might be able to answer. This is about Naira refinery in Gujarat. It is 50% owned by a Russian company, which is under sanctions. So it cannot import
I honestly
oil.
don't handle these sanctions also. So I have no clue what they...
You will not be able to...
I honestly don't know. And I have been very busy with all my trade negotiations. I keep reading in the newspaper all of this. I have information that Naira is owned by Rosneft. But I wouldn't know what the intricacies of the...
Basically, they are forced
industry,
to import from Russia. They have no choice but to.
Something which the Foreign Ministry and the Petroleum
Ministry will be able to. Yeah. This, you have seen the headlines today in newspaper. There is a lot of optimism about the reduction in tariffs. But one sticking point that remains unresolved is the non-tariff barriers. How much of a hurdle will this be in achieving the 500 billion target for bilateral trade?
In fact, the United States is one country which is very low on non-tariff barriers. India also doesn't have any non-tariff barriers. So trade between these two countries is very smooth. We would like to facilitate that to make it even smoother and faster and more efficient. Ideally, we'd love to integrate our custom processes so that goods can have good free flow for Indian goods. I don't want to become a transshipment for other countries.
Right.
For Indian goods, there should be free flow, and similarly for US goods, there should be free flow. And finally, we are looking at high quality Indian goods and services. So we are very keen and we are very conscious that if India has to prosper, we will have to engage with the best of quality standards in the world. That is our objective, and that is something which is good for India's economy and future.
Just before we end this interview, I would like you to encapsulate our relationship with the United States today and how it will be in the next 5 to 10 years, not knowing whether President Trump will be in power after 3 years.
Well, our relation with the United States of America is long enduring. It's one of the most important strategic partnerships in the world. For the last 25 years, ever since Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee was in government, we have nurtured this relationship, irrespective of change of government on either side. This relationship has only got better and better. Even in the peak of negotiations, when all the naysayers would talk about this becoming a problem and this becoming a wedge in the relationship, you would have observed I have always maintained trade is one aspect of a relationship. Trade will help further cement the relationship. But we have a fantastic partnership in the Quad. We have a fantastic partnership on critical minerals. Our technology partnership is strong. Our partnership on critical minerals, partnership on defense. It's a strategically very important partnership between the two largest democracies in the world. It's a partnership that affects all of humanity and the globe. The world looks up to a strong US-India partnership. Fortunately, Prime Minister Modi shares a very good friendship, relationship, brotherhood with the US President, as he does with a number of world leaders. He's one of the longest serving leader currently across the world of a major economy. He has built these relationships and nurtured these relationships through the years. And I think that will hold us in very good stead for a very, very long time in the future to further strengthen and cement the India-US partnership.
Sure. In the last 1 year or so, our relationship with the United States has been blow hot, blow cold. You will agree?
I don't agree. It's been fantastic. On so many fronts, we've had a very positive relationship. After all, trade negotiations are going on. But we signed a 10-year, I think, defense agreement.
Yeah.
Our trade negotiations are going on, yet they invited us for Pax Silica. And we are a part of that effort to create resilient supply chains, particularly in the context of critical minerals. While this agreement negotiations are going on, we've been, Honorable Prime Minister, President Trump have been in touch. They met in Canada. They've been talking to each other on the phone regularly. And their friendship continues to power on.
So would you say President Trump has been good to India?
I think the United States of America, President Trump, his team of ministers, our counterparts in the negotiating team, and most importantly, the people of America are valuable partners. They have been good to India, as all of Indians have been good to America. And together, we are a force multiplier.
Great. Thank you very much, Piyush ji.